If you've ever heard someone talk about being in the delivery room while a woman is giving birth, maybe you've heard a mix of different reactions. Before my son was born, I had friends who were fathers who told me it was like watching a train wreck. It was so horrific they couldn't look away. It was the stuff of nightmares. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it, or what have you. So even though I don't tend to get squeamish when it comes to things like needles or the sight of blood, by the time my wife went into labor, having heard all these stories, I had mentally prepared myself to be completely disgusted by the whole birthing process. Sarah was in labor for over 40 hours. I've heard it said that women give birth because men wouldn't be able to handle it. Well, I and any other man who's been there will tell you, truer words were never spoken. She was a warrior. She gave it every last ounce she had and more. We were exhausted, hungry, sleep-deprived, and all we wanted by the end was to meet our son. So when we hit that home stretch, the time finally came, the room began to fill with hospital staff ready to receive and care for our new addition. By that time, I had my wife's foot tucked into my shoulder like a human stirrup, was holding onto her hand and counting down for her while she pushed with each contraction that came. And there was a moment where I saw the top of my son's head for the first time. I still get choked up thinking about it. Now, that being said, it is weird, and here's why. Okay, so as you may know, infants have what are called soft spots. And the reason for this is that their heads actually elongate a little bit, and they squeeze down and contract so they can fit through the birth canal. So when I first saw that crown on my son's head, I was thinking, okay, so he's gonna come out a little bit more and I'll see his eyes. But it was not like that at all. His head was like a really long egg. It just kept coming, and there was nothing but hair until the very end, this tiny little squished up face, and then of course everything rushes out. And I remember thinking he looked a little bit like an alien. Okay, actually a lot like an alien. And despite it all, my world changed in the blink of an eye. Everything was different in that moment. And it's hard to explain exactly how, it just was. There's no real way to put it into words until you actually go through it. And I instantly came to realize that even after hearing all these horror stories, that I was on the complete opposite end of the spectrum to these people who say that watching their child come into this world is anything but the most incredible and breathtaking experience they will ever have. So my advice to you, my encouragement to you is if you got a live birth coming up that you will be present for, whether you're the one giving birth or someone who's going to be in the room witnessing it, and maybe you get squeamish or you can't stand the thought of even setting foot in a hospital. I know there's probably nothing I can say that's going to make things easier on you. But keep in mind, as you're there in that room, that this miracle has happened billions of times before, it will happen billions of times in the future, but this one belongs to you. And that may sound a little bit too flowery for you, but if this is your child, then this moment is yours. Despite its messiness, despite a visual experience that might not be Instagram ready, this is your moment to enjoy the miracle that is new life. And yes, most babies do come out looking pretty rough. In fact, later on as we were walking down the hallway from the delivery room to the recovery suite, the baby nurse is walking next to me and she says, "I see a lot of babies. You got a good-looking kid there." I'm talking baby model status. Now, I don't know whether she says that to everyone to make them feel better about their baby looking like an alien, but I mean, the truth is, he's my son. I wouldn't have cared what he looked like. And sure enough, as his first day with us began to go by and the swelling in his head went down and his features began to, I guess, normalize, I could see she was right. This was a beautiful, handsome baby boy. And by the way, I take very little credit for that. This is mostly thanks to my wife, who is astonishing and stunning in every way. So here's our son, Xander. And yes, it was not a pleasant experience while we were going through it. We were despondent at times. We were awake for over a day before we got any rest. And it was hard and it was long, and it was not the picture perfect ending to this pregnancy that we had both envisioned. But in the end, it brought us this. There's nothing in my life that comes close, that ever has come close. So welcome to the world, little buddy. You are precious beyond words. And yeah, getting born is hard work. It ain't pretty. But you, my son, you are. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're a new parent or you're about to be a new parent and you're feeling completely clueless and unprepared, you're in the right place. We don't know what we're doing either, but we're learning as we go, and we'd like to share that experience with you all. We've got tons of great videos coming up for you. We're going to go over all the major milestones your baby's going to hit throughout the first year and beyond. We'll have tips and advice for new parents, plenty of super cute footage of our sweet baby boy to go with it, and lots more. Now, I'm a working father. Both my wife and I have full-time jobs, so if you're anything like us, you know how precious time truly is. That said, we do love making these videos for you guys, so if you enjoyed this, be sure to smash like, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.